Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you? I'm here with you today for an informational video, an educational video. So yesterday I did a card, and you can see them in front of me. I've done them in two different color schemes, but basically the same card. And it uses the Beautifully Happy stamp set. That is free with a qualifying purchase during celebration, which is till the end of February 2023. And it is a beautiful stamp set. It's a two-step stamp set. And by two-step, it means that you have an outline and an overlay. It's two parts that stamp over each other. And while two-step stamping is simple, this particular image has three parts. It's a very large flower, and it has three parts to it. So I'm going to show you today how, when you get your stamp set, if you choose this as one of your free products, or if you already own it and haven't used it yet, how to go about using it. It's very simple to use, but I think it just requires a little bit of instruction prior to use. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to leave the stamp set out for reference, and I'm going to move these cards out of the way, but to the corner, and I'll bring them back in if I need them. So we're just going to start with a piece of basic white cardstock. And we're going to take the stamp that has the outline image, which is right here, and I'm going to grab the Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad, and I'm going to ink that up. And we're going to stamp that down first. Now that's the easy part. And when you use this outline stamp, you don't have to use the two-step stamp overlays. You can color this with watercolors. You can color it with with our ink pads, with Stampin' markers, with blends, Stampin' blends. The possibilities of coloring it are endless. You can use Wink of Stella, you can use blending pens, so it's really up to you. So I'm going to put this little guy here in the corner. Let's go ahead and stamp that down. Make sure we get proper coverage. Very good. All right, and I'm going to put the small one after I clean this big guy in this corner. It fits perfectly, and then I will trim him out. Let me clean this stamp. I have the camera down a little farther than I normally do because I wanted to get closer, so you can't see me cleaning stamps and stuff as well, but the point is I want you to really see what I'm doing when it's actually time to do the two-step. That's the part that this video covers. So I'm gonna stick this little guy in the corner here. He's upside down, but it's okay. It works. All right, and I'm gonna separate that. So let's move this black ink pad out of the way, clean this one, and then we'll get started. All right, let me grab my paper snips, and we are gonna separate. All right, so there's our two images. We'll start with the small one because it's a lot easier to pay attention to. Let me see how far my screen comes. I want to see how far I have to look. I think I'm going to bring you guys forward a little. That's good. Gives me a little bit more room. Okay, so to color this stamp, we are going to use Daffodil Delight today. And so here's the two-step stamp. Here's the flower image, and here's the two-step stamps that go with it. These three, this little trio here of three goes with this stamp. Now, when they're in there, they're not always as easy. Let's see where they're located. That would be that one, and that one when you pull them off. But I'm gonna show you what they look like. But it's this set of 3 that go with this flower right here. So we're gonna start with the large one, which is the actual flower. We're gonna ink that up in Daffodil Delight. Get that nice and inked up. And I'm gonna bring this down, which is why I needed to see how far my camera went, because I didn't want to be out of camera. But I need to bring it a little closer to me to stamp it so I can see what I'm doing. So we're gonna color this image. So you're gonna line this portion of the flower up with this outline right here. And it's very forgiving. And we're gonna stamp it right over that section there. Let me make sure I have it lined up. We're gonna press that into place. Oh, my phone alerting me. Sorry, guys. So there is that coloring of that section. You can see there's highs and lows and darks and lights of that same color. I'm going to bring it up to the camera for you guys to see it colored in. So there it is. You can see there's even color down here on this portion of the flower that's the bottom. So the next step, let me clean this one, is going to be the little section underneath, and that's this stamp right here. We're going to use Pool Party for that one. Let me grab it. And it is, gotta find the right stamp. Here we go. It's this little stamp here that has 2 parts, a little circle and then kind of like, it looks like a baby flower right there. So we're gonna ink that up in Pool Party. So let's go ahead and ink that. And then I'm gonna bring it down here again. And I'm gonna line this up and stamp that. And there it colors those 2 pieces right there. So it doesn't have anything for the stem, but we're gonna do the center of the flower. We're gonna use Daffodil. I mean, not Daffodil, Mango Melody for that center. So it's this little tiny stamp right here that's under there. So we're gonna ink that up in Mango, and we're gonna go ahead and lay it right over that center. And I'm gonna do it a few times because I want it to be nice and bright. So I'm just gonna keep laying it right over the top. I want that little center to stand out from the flower. And you can do that as many times as you need to. So there's our small flower. All right, I'm gonna bring in a chart that will be on my blog, and you guys can go there and check that out, look at it, and do what you need to do. It's gonna be a point of reference for you there on today's blog post. And I did it like this. We have our outlined image, our flower image, and our center. And then we have our pod stamp, which is what I call this little section. It's like a little flower pod that hasn't burst out yet. And the bottom pod once the flower has burst out. So what I did here is I showed the same colors. I colored this in marker, and I matched it to the flower stamp that you're going to look for to do that coloring. And then there's your center. And then I colored this area to go with this little stamp right over the top. So I hope that having this little reference will help you. Let's move on to the large flower. Now the large flower takes a little bit more effort. So let's just do the center of this flower first, get it out of the way. We only have to do a tiny little speck, and it's a little round piece. I'm going to show you the parts to the center of that flower. This tiny little speck right here goes in the center of that flower. So you have this tiny speck, you have this section for the pods, you have this section for the leaf, and you have this section for the flower. So the large flower has 4 parts: center, pods, flowers, leaves. We'll start with the center of the flower just to get it over with, and then I can close this ink pad. We're going to do Mango Melody again. We're going to do yellow today. This one I can do without really looking as close. The other one I want to try and line up a little better, so I need it a little closer to me so I can see the outline. But this one's fairly simple. So there's our Mango Melody center for the large flower cluster. All right, let's work on, let me close that ink pad. And let's start with the Daffodil Delight flowers. So we're going to grab our ink pad here. And this is our cluster of flowers. Now, I don't have it positioned properly on this stamp. I'm going to turn it this way. And let me actually remove this stamp so that you guys can see the stamp by itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this so that this flower touches this flower. We're going to line the big one up with the center of our flower. I'm going to bring this down so that you guys can see a little bit better. And then I'll bring it back up when I go to stamp. So you're going to take this flower and it's going to be this one. This piece up here is going to be this little bud. This tiny piece here is this tiny bud. Then you have the side flower, which is here, and the main center flower. So you're going to ink this up, and you're going to line it up so that those cover each other. Now I need to bring it a little closer to me, so I guess I'll just bring you guys closer to me. All right, here we go. We're going to line up those images, and you're just going to slowly lower your stamp, moving it back and forth until it covers those sections as best you can. It is forgiving if you don't get them perfect. But there, I'm pushing down. I want to move my hand. I want to see if you guys can really see it. There we go. See, that matches those sections. That section, that section, that section. This teeny tiny bud popping out in this little larger one. So when I lift up, there are those colored sections. I'm going to bring you guys back up again. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera, I don't mean to. It's easier for me to position once I have it up. All right. So I'm going to clean that stamp off, and then we're going to move on to the pods. So let's clean, and we'll move to the pods. So I have these 2 stamps together. So this is the pod section, and we're going to do this section up here, okay? It is also going to encompass this little bottom section of that flower, this long section of pods that haven't burst out yet, and then the 2 under pieces for those 2 buds that have emerged. So this section gets positioned in this manner, where those 3 little circle pods match those 3 little circle pods, where this section right here matches up with this part of the flower, and then on the side of those little circle pods, you have 2 little flower type pieces, match those. So let's go ahead and ink that up. We're going to use Pool Party again. I'm going to bring this over. Whoops. I'm going to bring it up a little so that you guys can see a little bit lower. All right, so I'm going to bring it down to me here so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to line up those pod pieces, and see how I'm kind of like moving my stamp till it really looks like it's the lineup that I want. And then I'm going to go ahead and press it down. I'll bring it up to the camera. And there are those 2 sections there, the center set of pods and the underside of this flower. Next, we're going to do the leaves. So let's get our ink pad back in. I have them on the same stamp here. So the set of leaves, we're going to line it up so that these 4 leaves cover those 4 leaves. Okay, so we're going to line these guys up, turn it till it lines up, and then press that part down. So let's go ahead and ink up. I'm done with my daffodil. I can close that, I forgot. All right, let's ink that up. And I'm gonna bring it down where I can see better. Hopefully you guys are I'm still in camera for you. Let me see. I can't tell. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're gonna line the leaves up. Make sure that they are the best we can, little by little as we come down. You can make slight adjustments until you press it into place. And there are the leaves. So this is a 4-part flower. So you have the center, you have the actual flower colors, you have the top section of pods and these little bottom sections that have burst open, and then you have the main leaf section. And that's how you stamp this one. So I made, just like I made this graphic for this flower here, I have made you a graphic for the large one. So you have the flower. This stamp here colors these parts. Okay. Let me raise you up a little bit higher. There we go. So you can see the other. Make sure we're in camera here. All right. Here's the leaves. Those get colored by this stamp here. And here's the pods. The pod stamp colors those pieces there. So these diagrams are going to be on my blog, inkyhandswarmhearts.com. Just look for the January 30th post of how to color the Beautifully Happy stem set. And then this is the finishing result from these 3 pieces. Okay? I hope that you guys got a lot out of this. When I first got this stamp set and I opened it, I thought, oh, it's just a 2-step stamp set. I mean, I can do this, right? And it isn't hard. But I wanted to show you how to do yesterday's card and how to really line up when it's your turn if you want to make this card, if you have not done so. And then I wanted to show you how to color those images. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate that. Also, please subscribe if you have not. Share my videos with your friends. It definitely helps me. And I hope that you have enjoyed my process. Check out my website, inkyhandswarmhearts.com, for more content. I do blog every single day. So even if I don't have a video on not Facebook, on YouTube, I have a post for you to see, either something to do with the stamp set that we have been working with, a tip or trick, a featured product, something is always on there for you guys. So I appreciate you guys being here, and thanks for hanging out with me. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!